What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. Welcome back to our Life is Strange community series, a community series that airs on our channel every other Wednesday, where I talk about all things Life is Strange. Now, this video is kind of hard to put into a title, and when I'm recording this, I don't even have the title kind of pinned out, so I can't repeat basically what the title is going to be. But I want to talk basically about if they have wasted the name Life is Strange or if they kind of ripped it off, things like that. And this actually comes, I was thinking in my head, what am I going to record this week, or what do I want to talk about? And, I'm going to be talking more about episode 5 as we get closer. It's just that we still have quite a long wait to go. But I was thinking, you know what? A couple videos ago, or even a couple months ago, I saw a comment that said, and I don't know who this person is, but I do truly appreciate you giving me this idea. But the person and I kind of went back and forth. We messaged back and forth, and his main thing was, like, it's not even Life is Strange. Like, the name Life is Strange, they took that, but it really isn't about Life is Strange. It isn't like that kind of theme, and that's kind of what I want to argue in this video. Firstly, like, what is Life is Strange? What's the concept, or what's the theme of it? Because you could say, well, they've only made one game, and I mean, you could then say Deck 9 made the set. So there's like two properties out there of Life is Strange. So what actually is Life is Strange? Like, it's not wrong for them to have made this game, Season 2 or Life is Strange 2 with Sean and Daniel, because we don't really have a theme of what Life is Strange is, or like an established theme. And I mean, I guess I could agree with you there, and I guess that's a fair point to make, that it really hasn't been enough time, and we've really only gotten, even between Before the Storm and Life is Strange, the only, the Rachel and Chloe were in both, right? Or at least Rachel was mentioned in Life is Strange. So, like, that's a common, like, the character thing. Max and her powers were a huge part of it. So you could say, is it the powers? Is it the power that Life is Strange has going for it? But the problem with Season 2, and you guys know me by now, right? You know that I'm very much anti-Season 2 in general. And again, not for, like, super, in my opinion, not for super out there reasons. I think I'm pretty central in what I think. I think I try to convey it pretty well. I think I do convey it pretty well. I get that Daniel has powers. So I get you could say, well, you just made your own point. Maybe if powers are what makes Life is Strange, then, or maybe it's the relationship between two people, Chloe and Max, Chloe and Rachel, and now Sean and Daniel. Maybe it's that. And this game has both those things. But at the same time, really, the essence of what Season 1 was, with Max, Chloe, Arcadia Bay, the time travel, the hurricane, tornado, all that stuff, that hasn't truly, I think, been replicated here. And you could say, well, they have to go their own direction, they have to do their own things. Yeah, but I still think, like, the essence, and you could say maybe even the essence was lost in Before the Storm. What made Before the Storm a Life is Strange game? Was it Chloe and Rachel? Because Chloe's ability, her power, was that talkback feature, which I actually liked. I actually thought that was kind of cool, but that did not have any, supernatural power. So you could say, well, they already broke their own rule. I mean, these are all valid things. For once, I'm not massively bashing Season 2. It's more of just a discussion of, did they kind of misuse it? Don't Nod has every right, obviously, to make whatever they want. And I've always said that they can make whatever game they want. It doesn't stop criticism from happening. It doesn't stop me from going after them or talking about it. That's for sure. Like, they're not immune to that, but they can make whatever game they want. The problem with Season 2, and I've been saying this, and I think to a lot of people, it's not, like, in the front of their head. I've always said, like, this isn't Life is Strange. This doesn't feel like Life is Strange. Honestly, to me, it doesn't even feel like a video game, because, like, where's the villain? Where's any kind of character development? Where's, like, actual logical thoughts that enter these characters' head? Things like that are also lacking in this season 100%. But, I think a lot of people, even from what I've seen in all of the comments from all of you guys, even in all the, and I think the more diehards watch these intermediate videos, the ones that are in between episodes. I think we get more of the people when I really bash it, or in the reviews we tend to get a lot of people. But what I've seen from a lot of the comments from, all the reviews or the live streams, or just the big videos where we kind of get the biggest range of people that hate the season, people that love it. The people that love it, or the people that even tolerate it, even some of you guys that, have been awesome and have been following us for so long, you even said, like, it's just solid. Like, I like this aspect about it. I like that aspect about it. I feel like you guys, and I could be wrong, and you guys definitely tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys like it because it's a video game. You guys like aspects of the video game. I don't really see people say, I love this Life is Strange aspect. And again, I know it's hard to put a label on that. What does that mean? You could say like, well, I love the relationship between Sean and Daniel because that's what, encapsulates Life is Strange. I don't see that. I mean, there are, I guess, some people that say they do like Sean and Daniel's relationship, but, I think the things that people like about this game are just things people like about video games. Like, oh, that conflict was cool. Oh, that scene was cool. Oh, that emotion, like that was an emotional scene, whatever. You know what I mean? Those are the things that people like, and you could say, well, that's generally how it is with any game. I mean, you could say that with Life is Strange 1, that's pretty much the case. Well, yeah, it's a debatable thing. It's totally a debatable thing. But when I look at it, when I look at Season 2, I mean, I have been saying all along, it's not. Like, whatever they had with Life is Strange is gone now. This is a different thing. And that does go to a like kind of like a longer question of, if you just took the powers away from Daniel and you just made this a story of two brothers on the run, going to Mexico, politics, all that kind of garbage that this season has. But if you had that, like, it's not Life is Strange, right? There's no way. If I pitched this game to you, right? And even if this is the biggest thing, this is honestly why, maybe this is like my actual like coming, this is like the light bulb moment. This is what I should have said in the beginning. If I would pitch you this video game without telling you its title, even with Daniel having powers, would you necessarily know I'm talking about a game in the Life is Strange franchise? I would say arguably not. Maybe the two brothers relationship thing would give it away. Maybe the power would be like, oh, okay, it's got some supernatural element, like there's something going on there. Maybe those would give it away. But I would say it's not for sure that you would know that I'm talking about a Life is Strange game. Okay, let's play the other game. If I pitch this game to you and I remove the powers from Daniel, if I say that it's about two kids that their father was killed by a cop and he was a Mexican, they're doing politics here, they're anti-Trump, they're anti-the wall, they want to run away because they can't explain themselves for whatever reason. Again, eliminate the powers. The game isn't all that much different with or without Daniel's powers. He barely uses them. He more or less uses them to throw rocks and to just throw temper tantrums. That's what he uses his powers for. He doesn't really use them in the way Max did. So if I pitch this game up until right now, episodes 1 through 4, if I pitched them to you and I didn't tell you that Daniel had powers, or I said he didn't have powers at all, would you think it's a Life is Strange game? I would say majority, if not everybody, would say it's not a Life is Strange game. Or like they wouldn't be able to tell me that it is one. And I think honestly that's the biggest problem, that even with the power aspect, even though he has force powers, basically he can use the force. I've been saying that from all along. That's his powers. Even though he has the powers, it still doesn't feel like a Life is Strange game. You could sell this game on being just a relationship between two brothers. Like, isn't there a game like that? Brothers, A Tale of Two, whatever, like something like that. That's a game that exists. So there's games that are made from relationships between two brothers. It's literally been done before. So if I were to they could have just done a story about two brothers. Even though he has the power, yeah, it still doesn't feel to me. It could just be only me, but I don't think it's only me. It doesn't feel like a Life is Strange game. If he didn't have powers at all, which honestly wouldn't be all that hard, and the game, I truly believe, isn't even built around his powers. I think you could argue one way or the other that the first season was. I mean, the powers were mainstay, and I think it's because you were the character with the powers, and that's what made them more prominent. But the powers were huge. The powers, related to Rachel. They related to Chloe because of what kept happening with Chloe. They related to all the themes in the game. They were related to Kate. They related to Jefferson and Prescott and the ending and really the centralized threat of the game, right? Arcadia Bay being destroyed. So the powers were massive. You could say they were one of the biggest things. Now, there were also all the themes about the game and relationships and having Arcadia Bay feel like it was living and the essence of Rachel and what was going on with her. There were a lot of other things. So you could argue, but I'd say the powers in the first game were a main element of what made it a game, what made Life is Strange Life is Strange. I would not say that for this game. I would say the powers are secondary. I would say the powers don't really matter. I would say it's more about protecting your younger brother and getting him through his temper tantrums. That's the point. And getting him to Mexico. That's the point of this game. The powers are secondary. Using the powers are secondary. What the powers can do are secondary. There's really no major things that come from him using powers. So they're not as big of a deal. So really, you could remove them. I think 100% you could remove them. And to close this out, that really is what upsets me the most, is if you go down that logic, it's like they kind of just ripped Life is Strange off. Yeah, they created it, and yeah, they're creating this. So I get like it's their property and they own it. But they're just using it to sell more copies. And you could say, well, that's a a huge statement to say. I know, but is it really? Like, it doesn't really have anything to do with what Life is Strange is. And I get that they're doing a completely different telling of it. They're going in a totally different direction. Maybe you could argue that they're making Life is Strange bigger than what we kind of knew it as, right? They have to kind of expand upon it. And now Life is Strange is everything I just described about the first game, but now it's everything I described about the second game as well. You could say that. But really, I mean, that's one view from it. Another viewpoint of the exact same thing is they're just using the name Life is Strange because they know it's popular, because they know people will buy it, because they know people will be interested in it. And even though it has nothing to do with what made Life is Strange, they're going to do it. If losing Chloe and Max weren't enough, they also lost the themes, the elements, the powers, the villains, everything good about the game. They lost all of that stuff too. I know some of that stuff was me just I have to throw in some insults every video. It wouldn't really be me if I didn't do that, right? So, like, again, I don't think I'd said anything. I like to end it with this because a lot of people get upset at me. I don't think I said anything wildly out there, but I definitely want to hear what you guys think. What do you think about what I said? Like, is this game Life is Strange? Did they kind of abandon that idea, or is this now what Life is Strange actually is? Again, you could make the argument anyway, and I presented basically every argument in the video as well. So let me know where you guys stand. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon. We got lots more Life is Strange content coming as the weeks go on, as we get closer to episode 5, and then we'll be live streaming it. We'll be reviewing it. Lots of Life is Strange content coming up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all there.